everyone. Sorry for the delay. I've been out of town, had some technical issues. This is the video where I'm going to explain the opposing viewpoints assignment. And then I'm also here first going to give you a rundown of what we were supposed to be working on for today. So before class time today, you were supposed to read Basic Income is Less Radical Than You Think. A universal basic income might hurt the poor more than help, and the pros and cons of a universal basic income. So you'll read those, and then you've got that initial analysis assignment like you'd had before on the assignments before, just to make sure that you've read it and respond back to that. Make sure that you've not only read the assignments for today, but also the assignments that we have to do on Wednesday, March 6th. The U.S. could help solve its poverty problem with universal basic income, and universal basic income is a poor tool for fixing poverty. Both of those as well. So you need all of those because you're going to need them for the opposing viewpoints assignment. So you're going to need to make sure you have read all of those. You're going to need to reference those. You're going to need to have quotes from those. So if you have not read those articles, you can't do the opposing viewpoints assignment. And then if you can't do the opposing viewpoints assignment, you also won't be able to do the actual major essay that we're going to be writing the opinion paper about that, because you're going to have to use those articles as well. So you've got to look at those articles. There's no way to complete these assignments without that. So, and the the initial analysis assignments, those are worth points. So if you don't do them, you also don't get points for them. So make sure you do them, get the points for that, and then you'll be ready to complete the assignments moving forward. So for today, we've got a UBI discussion board that you're supposed to complete. I've got the instructions of those in Blackboard in the folder for today, in the to complete folder for March 11th. And then you're supposed to be watching this video. If you're watching this video, you're doing that part. And then the optional assignment is to post to the opposing viewpoints hotline. So if you have any questions about the opposing viewpoints project, that's a discussion board. You can post any questions that you have. You have a question, go there. If other people, scan through it to see if other people have already asked your question, it might have already been answered. I'm going to be, checking in throughout the day and responding to those. As well as tomorrow. So if you have any questions, make sure to post there. But again, it is optional. You don't have to post to that. Okay. And so all of that is available here. Right, that's mail. All of that is available here on Blackboard. So you've got the actual readings here in March 11th. You've got the readings in the to read folder. You've got the instructions for the opposing viewpoints assignment that I'm about to go over. You've got this video, which you should know is there because otherwise you're not watching this. And then to complete, you've got the instructions for the initial analysis assignment. There are two parts to that, so go ahead and make sure you do both of those. You've got the UBI discussion board that we talked about, and we've got the opposing viewpoints hotline. So that should take care of everything that you need. Oh, by the way, let me tell you this as well. While we're here in Blackboard, up here in the course documents section, if you click in the course documents section, you will see, hold on, it takes a second sometimes because while I'm recording a video, my computer runs slow. You will see a folder here called UBI Readings. So it's Universal Basic Income Readings. And if you click on that, it's going to take us a second. You will see not only all of the assignments that I've assigned for you, so the ones that we read in class, just a, kind of an introduction to the universal basic income, the one you had to read for Wednesday the 6th, the ones you had to read for today. You'll not only have all of those, but a lot of extra ones in here, right? I've got some podcasts to listen to. I've got various assignments in here. So and part of the reason these are here is because, again, you're going to be writing a researched essay about the UBI. And so I'm giving you some extra sources that you might want to look at. Some of them are rather interesting, because there's a new one. They come out all the time, and so I just, I come up with assignments for us to read, and then something might come up. And so one came up just last week that's got profiles of people in Chicago. Chicago started doing a limited universal basic income, and it's got profiles of people who are receiving that money, what they're doing with the money, how it's helping with them. And so I don't have many of those on the list, but I've got some articles in here that actually talk about specific experiments that they're doing and what people are doing with the money, how well they're working, and things like that. So you can look at all that. So just keep that in mind that exists, and we can talk about that some more when we're back together in class on Wednesday. So let's go to look at the opposing viewpoints assignment, the actual assignment that you're going to have to do. So just explain what this assignment is, why, of course, it's so important that you read everything that I've assigned. So as I say here, for this assignment, you will write a dialogue, right? It's like a conversation between two people. One who believes that a UBI or GMI, Universal Basic Income, or Guaranteed Minimum Income, there's a difference. And again, we had that in our readings, but one who believes that either of those is a good solution to poverty, and another who believes that it is not. Okay, so you're going to have a conversation between two people. And as I say, both of these people should have read the following articles, and I list all the articles. If both of those people need to have read those articles, obviously you need to have read all of those articles. That's what I was saying before. You've got to read those articles in order to be able to complete that, because they're going to have to make reference to all of these articles. Both of them don't necessarily have to make reference to them, but they're going to need to make reference back and forth to them. So that's going to have to be a part of that. So again, if you have not read these, then you're not going to be able to complete an assignment where the people you create in your dialogue have read them. So you're going to have to read them first. So as I said, notes I say here, they must have read the articles because you will need to quote them, right? So you can't quote them until you read them. Additionally, they can also use quotes from any of the other articles or podcasts in the UBI readings folder that I just showed you, located in the course document section of Blackboard. So you don't have to do that, but if you go through and you're interested and want to look at any of those things, that's fine. You might want to, definitely might want to use some of those resources when you are creating your actual research paper. But they can make reference to that if you have looked at those articles, so you can scan through and see what's there. I say a well-constructed assignment will show that you have not only read the articles, but have also thoroughly digested the arguments on both sides of the issue. So again, this is a way that I can say, did you read the articles? Do you understand what the issues are at stake here? And somebody who really understands this will be able to create a discussion between two people who are arguing back and forth, right? Because it means you've got to understand both sides of the issue at some depth. It means you have to have read the articles and understood what's going on with them. Okay? I say this is a creative assignment, so have fun with it. You can have the participants be any two people you choose, as long as they are not the actual authors that we have read. Or anybody else. They can be, they could be college students, professors, journalists, people struggling to pay their bills, or any two people who just happen to be interested in the issue. So, whatever reason, somebody who's saying, hey, struggling to pay their bills or working hard, and they're asking a question, why should people be getting a universal basic income? They may not work so hard. Somebody's struggling to pay the bills and saying, well, actually, I think a UBI would help, and here's why I think it would help. So any two people that you want, again, they could be students. Sometimes students will do this, and they'll create two students leaving my class who are having a conversation about the readings, right? So that's a possible way to do it. Any way that you want to do this is fine. A parent and child, whatever it is that we want to, however we want to do it. They can meet on campus, at a coffee shop, at a restaurant, on the bus, in someone's house, wherever it is that you want to have them. They're walking out of class. They happen to meet each other on a street corner and they start talking about something, whatever it is that you want. You, of course, and this is an important thing, you, of course, have your own views on the issue, which you should, right? But the goal of this assignment is not to prove that your ideas are correct. That's not what we're going to do here. That's going to be your next assignment, where you're going to be thinking about proving your own ideas. The goal is for you to show that you understand the nature of the debate, right? That's what we're looking at here. So the participants should be equally matched in terms of their ability to present their arguments. So you don't want to create an unbalanced situation where one side just completely defeats the other, right? Because we've got information on both sides. I've given you information on both sides, and so they should be able to argue back and forth about that intelligently, right? And again, that shows that you really understand the nature of the issue. And just because you understand what somebody else's ideas on this doesn't mean that you have to believe them. It just shows that you understand where they're coming from, and that gets you to understand on some level your own ideas more deeply. So as I say, the participants should be equally matched in terms of their ability to present their arguments. If you have someone win the argument, the other person should put up a hard fight, right? So it shouldn't be like just devastated. You just create somebody who's so stupid that they can't argue the point, and the other person destroys them. We actually have a name for that. That's what's called a straw man. When we set up a debate, we decide and it's called that because you can imagine if you wanted to fight somebody, and I'm going to fight somebody, and I'm not going to fight, I guess I don't know who people fight. The only person I know is Mike Tyson, who's really old, but I guess he's still fighting now. I'm not going to fight Mike Tyson. I'm going to set up a straw man like a scarecrow. I'm going to fight that, right? I beat that straw man up real good, right? See how strong I am. Not really very strong because you fought a straw man. And so we say that when we argue, we set up a straw man. That is where we set up somebody who's so weak that it's easy to defeat them. And we don't want to do that, right? We want to set up a real argument, right? So I said it should be a hard-fought argument. You're going to create somebody on the other side who's smart and understands the situation as well as you do. And so we've got a good meaningful debate here. So this assignment must be at least 800 words long in an MLA format. Hopefully you've passed your MLA formatting quiz. You've done that. You do not need to have a works cited page. So we'll talk about works cited pages later. You'll need that for your research essay. But the participants should mention their sources by name. So for example, they can say things like, I agree with what Ashim Jaro says in his article, Basic Income is Less Radical Than You Think, when he says, right? And so you see how that puts all the information in there, because that's all we do in a works cited page anyway, is we give, not all, but mainly what we do in a works cited page is we give the name of the author and the name of the article. There's a little bit more information that we add, but you don't need to worry about that. I just want the name and the author and have the quote in there. And on the other side, we might say, but what Eduardo Porter doesn't mention in his article, Universal Basic Income as a Poor Way to Fight Poverty, is that, right? And so you can see that we're mentioning the name of the article and we're mentioning the name of the author. And so therefore I know where those quotes are coming from. So I need to be able to see that. And so again, this is just going to look like a dialogue. We'll talk about this some when we get into class on Wednesday, so we can work on it. But you can, usually we can say something like, give the person a name, speaker number 1, a colon, and then have them speak. Speaker number 2, or give them a name. You can say John and Jimmy, right? And have them talk. Whatever it is, Professor Martinez and Professor somebody else, right? And so have them go back and forth so that we can see very clearly this is a dialogue. And so that we should actually see it's like a play, so that if you're doing this well, we should be able to give, well, we won't do this, but we could give the assignments to 2 people in class and they could just read their parts. We aren't summarizing this. They would just say, what they would say. Hey, Jimmy, I hear you. Did you read those articles that we for class? Oh, yeah, I did read those articles. What did you think about them? Well, actually, I think the universal income is a really bad idea. Really? I think. Why do you think that? I actually think it's a good idea. Well, here's why I think it's bad. And they just go back and forth. And so it should be an actual dialogue, like a play that we would be able to read out loud. So keep that in mind. That's everything that we need to be working on. If you have any questions about the assignment, post them to the hotline. And then if you have more specific questions, of course, you can email me. I'll be available on email. And so I will see you on Wednesday.